The story of Santa Claus. Why he comes down the chimney is because this juice or this whatever substance actually passes what's called the claustrum, which is where they got Santa Claus. So it goes down the chimney and back up the chimney.
The claustrum is a little closet just below the cerebrum where all the cerebrospinal fluids, i.e. chrism, is produced. It's called the Holy or the Santa Claustrum. So Santa Claus is in your head at the North Pole. Yeah. Well, obviously this is the North Pole. This point here in acupuncture is called Polaris, the North Pole. The Chinese know this, and this is the dome of heaven. The claustrum, which is here, the Santa Claustrum, it releases oils which go down the chimney, down to the solar plexus, or the sacral plexus.
Inside our head, in the skull, we have the cerebrum, and there's a special part in it called the claustrum. This claustrum is right in the middle of our head, and it releases a special kind of brain fluid, an oil. In ancient Greek, this fluid was known as Christos, or the Christ. This wonderful fluid starts from the cerebrum and flows down through the spinal cord. It travels down to the lower back, near a group of bones called the sacrum. The sacrum is made up of 5 bones joined together, right at the bottom of our spine. Below the sacrum is the coccyx, the very end of the spinal column. Close to the sacrum, there's a network of nerves called the sacral plexus. The oil from the cerebrum goes all the way down to this lower part of the spine. The claustrum is also called the holy claustrum because of this special oil, this crystal-like substance it creates. The word sacred is thought to come from secretion because this secretion is a hidden thing, and the sacrum is the sacred part of the secret. As this secretion travels down the spinal cord to the sacrum, we see the amazing design of our body. The spinal cord is really an extension of the brain, and it helps with thinking too. Now, about the holy claustrum, it's also called the Santa Claus drum. This is because the fluid that flows to the sacral plexus is considered sacred. This idea is where the Santa Claus story comes from, with him bringing gifts down the chimney. It's a tale about how our bodies work. Also, the Bible can be seen as a guide to how our bodies can renew themselves. Here's what happens. Every month, when the moon is in the same zodiac sign as when you were born, a special seed or germ is formed in the solar plexus, just above the sacral plexus. This germ is the oil, the Christ, born in Bethlehem. In this context, Bethlehem is another name for the solar plexus where this Christ or seed begins. This seed, this oil, is meant to go back to where it started in the midbrain. As the oil moves up the spinal cord, its vibration, the energy of the Christ oil gets stronger. But first, the oil is processed in the pineal gland and the pituitary gland before it travels down the spinal cord. The pineal gland is linked with electricity, while the pituitary gland is associated with magnetism. The oil is separated out, and then it travels down the spinal cord through the pingala and either nerves. These nerves are also called the kundalini and the kundabuffa. The oil reaches the sacral plexus and waits for a special seed to form once a month, which happens 12 times a year. If we manage to transform this seed and make it rise, it moves up the spinal cord. It then gets to the medulla oblongata, the pons, and the midbrain, crossing the vagus nerve, also known as pneumogastric nerve. This nerve starts in the brain area, near the pineal and pituitary glands, and it goes to the lungs and the stomach. This whole nerve system is called the tree of life. The ancients believed that this seed, born in Bethlehem every month, is the Christ. They thought if a person avoids sexual activity during this time, the oil and seed are preserved. Then they rise, passing through the heart chakra, then the throat chakra, increasing in vibration as they go. At the start, the oil has a low vibration, but with meditation, proper breathing, good eating, and peaceful behavior, this Christ oil can be raised. It then crosses the vagus nerve at the top of the spine, which has 33 vertebrae. The reason for this is that Christ symbolically dies at 33 years old. When the oil reaches the top of the spine, it finds the optic thalamus, a small egg-shaped part in the middle of the head. As it crosses the pneumogastric nerve,